Right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So this is for sure a wheat sector review, but I have to start with the Dow Jones. I will obviously get into the other charts later, but man, this uptrend did a lot better than I expected. I was for sure wrong, and I'm gonna chapter this as I was wrong. You know I'm louder about that than my correct ones, but oh man, it looks like we're actually over the 20 moving average, and you know what was a red green is now starting to look a lot prettier. And what that has translated to is, oh man, I was so scared of losing them all. Now I'm wondering if we're gonna break them all and fly, right? CGC is getting to a place where I was worried it was gonna lose them all and die. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's gonna come up to $8, right? Break all four of these and head up to the fifth one. I think ACB continues to annoy me. It's just dropping doji after doji despite the good earnings. But if you look at OGI, this one had good earnings and is doing a very nice uptrend, breaking all five and moving, right? So it's just a little, I don't know. I think I actually have zero shares of ACB right now too. So it's not like I'm secretly angry that it's not, right? Like I for sure have no shares, but yeah, I think I expected a little more from that little one right there, right? SNDL doesn't look bad either. Again, same thing. It's trying to test the break of all of these. MSOS is actually turning around a lot, and I normally skip this one. I'm gonna do my best to cover this one, but I feel like this chart right here looks the most Dow Jones Industrial, right? Red, green, red, green. Then we start moving to a bunch of greens. MSOS has that red, green, starting to move just a little more doji-esque than I'd like it to be. But oh man, if Dow Jones does well, this should as well. And then actually, I wasn't even gonna make a video here, but this high tide chart came up. There was a comment on it. This actually does look a lot better than it was, and I thought, hey, why not give a couple thoughts? All right, so I'm hoping to cover all this and more. You know that, but excuse me, before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our five moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do see, that I do draw manually myself. I do see manually myself, excuse me. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I am so grateful for it, all right? So, you know, as I went through the row of the normal tickers, I feel like a lot of them are going to be kind of clustered, not clustered, but chaptered together, all right? Because really, they're all on the cusp of breaking some significant lines that, again, I was so wrong about, all right? So I think my error starts in the indice itself, right? So again, whenever I talk about the sector, I really only care about the Dow Jones. Occasionally, I'll flash the S&P 500, and you can see this one's actually a uptrend as well, right? But to me, I always look at the Dow Jones because look, end of the day, we're talking about farming, all right? Instead of eating the carrots, I'm enjoying some herbs in this thing, right? And that is as Dow Jones Industrial as it gets, right? Like farming is the bare bones of it. And there are no e-commerce sales. Everything is in a store. There is as little tech. The closest thing to technology is the lights and the drip systems, right? So as long as this chart looks good, I have to believe the sector should be good as well, all right? And again, I very much thought we would get to this orange line. I actually thought we would reject and come back down. This right here was my personal biggest error, right? And I thought that would basically translate to we'll get to the top, but we'll reject down. You know what I mean? And the one thing to say on the Dow Jones, all right? So this candle right here, this Tuesday breaks the 50. This Wednesday breaks the 20. And when I say break, let me rephrase that. This Tuesday gets over the 50. Sorry, yeah, it does. It gets over the red 50. This Wednesday gets over the 20, the orange one. This is the first and only confirmation candle. We actually needed one more, all right, because this candle does not confirm the 50. All right. What it does, it makes me a little more confident. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discredit this, but by breaking another moving average on its own, I'm here to confirm both. So for some people, the gap up and strong close, like this is for sure a beautiful strong candle. For some people, that might be enough. And I think I would have rather seen two good candles. This is a little bit doji-esque in my book, but hey, I always assume Friday's going to be a loser day, right? So I think the fact that it was green is decent. And we are actually over the biggest candle to the left. Clearly, it's this one, right? But all that said, Dow Jones is doing good, and that's now setting up literally all of them, right? You can see tilray is over all five moving averages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's just these two are definitely not confirmations by any means, right? I'll probably adjust the lines. I'm just going to kind of go through the rest right now. Let's go with CGC. CGC, look, this is two. It is hard to get over just one of these lines. When you have two of them, especially if one of the two or both of the two are these three on the back end, all right? That's just a thicker wall trying to make it harder and harder, right? So the fact that we were actually, look at that Friday, we close over. We close at 704, the green number on top, and you can see the highest moving average was 702, right? So we are a couple pennies over it. Man, that's big, right? CGC on the cusp of confirming and making me believe, right? ACB has been over all five for a bit, coming off some really good earnings. So far, bouncing like a champion on the 8 moving average. We just need a little bit more. I think it goes, look, again, I'm never here to like give extra credit to my lines. Personally, I feel like the moving averages are significantly better because they're, computer generated. But yeah, once you're over all five, you kind of need to start drawing some good lines. And I think that this 680-ish line has been a good line because man, it's over it, but it's not confirming. But yeah, if we can get over it, that's a big line. Again, I'm going to talk about the targets later. Right now, we're focusing on the just need a little bit more to confirm. I talked about OGI. I'll flash it real quick. This is actually the only one that has confirmed, right? This was a good candle. I mean, you can say this one was not a good confirmation one, but yeah, for sure this one was, and that's a nice continuation, right? So still have a decent RSI. That OGI is the only one. MSOS, right? Look at this thing. One more candle, we're going to confirm. We're going to head back to 8. Oh man, if we can get over 8, I haven't thought about $10 on MSOS in a long time. You know what I mean? And then even high tide, right? High tide, they're it was hard to find, I don't like talking about bottoms, believe me, right? But this was a bad downtrend that lost all the lines and started going down. And I mean, even at this point right here, our RSI wasn't that, like, we were just low. We just came back, and you can already see it was starting to get ready to go back down, right? So there was way more reason for this to come down to 140 than to be a $2-ish stock. You know what I mean? So very much Dow Jones related. And I know it seems funny that a US indice is going to help a Canadian stock that doesn't care about a US indice, but again, we are talking about this is a major market stock right here, right? So that is why. But again, that's just a quick flash of all of them and why I think I'm just kind of chaptering all of these together, right? With tilray, let's see if we can adjust that 203 line. I thought we had just done that. What does this line look like? I think that's too low. Clearly, we're already testing that line, and I was wondering if that was going to be kind of around there. But yeah, I think 203 is still a look. We need to break 203. There's a very good channel above that, so no changes there. I don't think it is worth drawing new lines here because really all we're trying to do is go from here to here, then we're going to try to go from here to here, and then if we break this, green red green, red red green green red green, red red, nothing, green, right? Like we would be hoping for like a good 13 if we can get over this 8 line right here, right? So I guess I'll draw. What would I want to get over? What are you at? It's a little lower than I want it to be. What is that at? That's our line. If we can get over 840, oh, it's going to be hard to stop 13. You can just see all those up and downs I just did momentarily, right? ACB, look, I have 0 shares of this thing, all right? This one just annoys me because, man, I think that this thing should look like OGI. This thing had really good earnings. A lot of us in the Discord talked about it kind of coming down mainly because of CGC. CGC dropped the earnings the next day, and that thing gapped down a little bit, right? Obviously, it held a little bit and so on and so forth. But yeah, that was one theory we had in the room that, maybe that's why. But, this is definitely still overall five. This is bouncing a little bit, right? Like we just need another good candle, right? If this thing can get, I'm not going to adjust the line. I think this is a good line. But if we can get over this, what is this? 705. 705. Let me just zoom out just a little bit. What are you right here? 717. I think between whatever your risk tolerance is, between 705 and 717, if we can get over those one of or both of those lines, man, that 9 something, 934 is what that's at. That might be real hard to stop. Again, literally nothing, 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 boom, boom, nothing, nothing, right? Like that's a nice, nice channel to trade in if it gets in there. And again, just watch the Dow Jones to do its thing. You know what I mean? I talked about OGI. There's not too much I can tell you right there. That thing is just looking good after earnings, right? MSOS. So this is a big line right here. Basically 815. So what I'm assuming, oops, I can't zoom more. What I'm assuming is that slope right there is going to make this thing kind of keep coming down. This thing is kind of going up, but it's essentially staying horizontal around 814. These two are going to meet. I talked about 2 moving averages, especially if the 2 are one of these 3. That's going to be a hard line. All right, it's going to be a hard line. But at the same time, I think as it gets close to that, if it does, Dow Jones is going to retest all-time highs. And if Dow Jones breaks and runs into all-time highs, oh, MSOS is going to do nothing but follow. You know what I mean? So I would watch 815 and in conjunction, watch for Dow Jones all-time highs. If the 2 of those happen together, oh, that is a locomotive going down the tunnel with just nothing's hitting it under that tunnel, right? That's a good place to be, right? So just watch those 2. But again, I think I just said it and I'm going to say it again. There was really more reason for this to keep coming down than there was for it to go up. Again, on this day right here, it's a low RSI, believe me, right? The RSI is 36. Oh, it could have gotten lower. You know what I mean? Actually, looking at it, it seems like it holds 36-ish pretty well. I guess this was the last time it was in the teens. It was late last year, but interesting. Nonetheless, I am giving this a lot of credit to the Dow Jones. High tide is where I'm going to end it, and really it is the exact same thoughts, right? This is going to be a big test. I think the one difference with a couple of the other ones is, look, these are actually you can attack these individually. I was going to almost try to find a single word for that, but I can't, right? Like I would love for high tide to close around like 211. That would be nice, right? Because again, this 50 is coming down on Monday, so it's probably going to be as low as like 206. If we can get into that like 210, 211 range, I'm going to tell myself, all right, the 50 hopefully is good to go. Let's try to take the 218 line. Will it get over 218? I don't know. But hey, that's a decent MACD. That's a decent RSI. Volume's getting better. And again, same thing I just said with MSOS, right? If the Dow Jones can get over basically this line, I don't like, let's draw it. This is my all-time high golden line right now. Let's edit this bad boy. Bump, bump. Bump, bump. And then let's make it as close to good as we can. Right there. If we can get into 40,960-ish, 65, 66, whatever, oof, that, and again, look at that MACD, look at that RSI. That's not too bad here. That seems like it's plausible. We'll leave it at plausible, right? I've been wrong, and I don't want to be wrong again, right? I think that is going to be really easy to make me think if you can go to if that one can break that yellow line, this might come back up to that 250 line. And I know you remember, because I remember, oh, that's a big line to get over that it's been unable to for a pretty long time, right? So I haven't thought about that line in a bit. It's still a little early to talk about it since we're actually still 2 moving averages under it, but it's not that bad to think about it. You know what I mean? I'll say that. So a little bit of a quick video. Let me know if there's anything I missed. Yeah. Hey, I appreciate you so much.